So this episode's a bit more like personal, maybe a bit more niche.
Goodness me. A bit of breadstick.
Death by breadstick. So we're going to talk about like our course, kind of going into the fashion industry, like everything you need to know if you're starting uni, going into fashion, or you want to do it, or you don't really understand what our specific course is, which is fashion communication and promotion.
Yep.
Rather than like a design or making kind of course.
Yes.
Yeah, we can go through it all and we'll let you know.
We'll let you know for anyone that's interested in being nosy or interested in doing something similar.
Yeah.
So let's go. Woo!
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Let's start from the start.
Right, I am question master. Okay, so like Ella said, we both study the same course. I've just finished and you're about to go in your third year.
Yeah.
And we both do fashion communication and promotion at NTU.
We both also did a fashion...
BTEC.
It was like an art design, fashion...
It was called Fashion and Clothing.
Fashion clothing BTEC, yeah.
At Warwickshire College we did that. And that was 2 years, and then we've gone on to uni after that. So, firstly, maybe we should start with, someone has asked, what is FCP? Go ahead.
So FCP is fashion communication promotion. So it's like the way a brand communicates itself, the way a brand promotes itself. The brand could either be like an actual clothing brand, or it could be pretty much any part of the industry.
Yeah, doesn't have to be fashion related.
It's not specifically fashion, because we do other things that aren't fashion.
Yeah.
And how you could even do it about like it's how a person promotes themselves.
Yeah.
I
think I would just describe it as basically anything visual
creative behind the scenes.
Yeah, so if you see a piece of clothing, we haven't designed the clothes.
No.
We've promoted it, we've come up with the branding for it. Basically we're creatives but more on the business side.
But not quite like
it's not numbers.
No.
It's storytelling. It's ways of getting product across through storytelling and concepts. And so we're the people that come up with the ways to promote things. Yeah. So any branding you see, any big collaboration you see, anything basically. And it's very broad.
Yeah.
It's really broad.
And it's so fun. I love it.
It's so fun. We both love it.
It's like the fine line between having to create a clothing line and like the businessy side. It's like the bit in between.
Perfect bridge in between.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why we both wanted to do it. So go ahead. You say why you wanted to do that course.
Because I know I loved making clothes at college. I really did. But I knew that I didn't want that to be my job. Like I liked it as a hobby.
Yeah.
Then I knew I wanted to go into fashion. I know near the end of college I was kind of doing a few more styling things rather than making the clothes. Like I do like photography, that kind of thing, kind of cater.
Doing the social media for the course.
Yeah. Things like that. Like I would cater the projects to what I would like.
Yeah.
That's why I really like that college course, because it kind of could do anything.
Yeah, you could take it however you wanted.
Yeah. So then looking around, I didn't really know what I was going to do. Like, was I going to do business?
Yeah.
Then I think we went to see one at Central St Martin's that was quite similar, but it was a bit of a weird vibe. It's a bit not really for me. And then I know we went to the Nottingham one, and I think we went to see the two courses that are the sister courses.
Yeah, FCP and FMB, management or something.
Business management. Fashion business management.
Or the way around, yeah.
And watching the two lectures back to back about the briefing of what the courses were, I was like, because I actually went there thinking I was going to do the business.
Yeah.
And then I know that you want to do the communications, and I was like, oh my god, I don't want to copy Ellie, but that's one looks so much better.
Yeah.
It looks so much funner. And I know people that are actually on the other course that say they wish they did our course.
Yeah.
Because it's more creative. It's a lot more like hands-on and like... So yeah, that's why I wanted to do it.
I think for me, it was pretty much the exact same thing. It was being at college, our course was very hands-on. It was practical design and making, which we both loved at the time. And I loved it, really enjoyed every single day, but knew that I didn't want to do that as a job. But I wanted to be part of the process. So I knew I wanted to be in fashion, but for me, I had more the idea of like wanting to be part of working in a team behind the scenes. I didn't know at that time. I didn't even know what the job roles would be for that, and I didn't even know if there was a course that could do that. And then once I started researching it, things such as business management and communication, and there's loads all around the country of similar names. They're all slightly different.
I think I would definitely, if you're thinking about doing it, definitely either. It might be all virtual at the moment, but like go and listen to what exactly this course is, because they all say the same name. They're all very slightly different. Like I know there's like one in Manchester that's quite similar, but it's more businessy, like slightly more businessy.
I mean, I went to one that was supposed to be similar in Brighton. When I got there, I realised it was all sketchbook work, and I was thinking, how are you telling me that this is about communication and promotion, but it's sketching in a sketchbook? Anyway, for me, I was like, no, that's not right. When I went to Nottingham, that was one of my first questions. I was like, is it a lot of sketchbook work? And they said, yes, there's sketchbook work, but it's not sketching. We use them as
it's like a diary
basically. It's not sketching, drawing. It's not that. So,
and it's not like too intense either, the sketchbook work. Like this kind of just like runs alongside the whole year of your work.
I think that FCP basically summed up for both of us what we wanted to do but didn't know what the name of it would be.
Because I even think going on to like what we want to do, even though we're doing the same course, is probably different because it's so broad.
You can take... FCP is very broad. I feel like that's maybe one of the questions is like, okay, so what job roles can you do from it? That's one of the questions, so we can jot that in here. You can do a lot of different things from FCP. For example, just to name a few, you could do styling, you could do merchandising, you could do PR, you could do social media,
graphic design,
photography,
creative direction. God, there's loads.
You could do, you can tailor it to whatever you want.
Influencer marketing, working with influencers.
Yeah.
Like, God, there's so many.
I just think it's anything. It can be anything except designing, and it's not the numbers.
Yeah, it's not like business.
It's not business and it's not designing, so everything in that bridge in between is FCP, and that's what our course contains. And we, throughout FCP, you get to try and dabble in pretty much every single one of those things.
That's what I quite like about it, because it's like throughout the year, the projects are all quite short, but you get to try everything, and it's like long enough, you know what I mean?
It shows you what you like as much as it also shows you what you don't like. I know from being on FCP that I don't like creative direction. That's not for me. I like working in the team, but I don't like being the one to come up with the creative
I quite like
ideas.
That's what I like.
Well, there you go. It like shows you what you want to do.
Because you're in the team, you get to use everyone's strengths. Like obviously, if just say we're in the same team, we would have different strengths. So maybe I'll do the creative direction, and you would do like the marketing kind of side of it.
That's what FCP is really good at as well, as teamwork. And you'll find this in your third year as well. That's when it comes out the most, because you have to find a team where you all have different strengths and you can play on them. And it's like an unspoken thing. Like we knew without even talking about it that I would do this bit, she would do this bit, she would do this bit, because that's what we're tailoring it to and that's what they want to do. And you can bring it all together, and it's so nice to use everyone's different strengths in one group.
I think when I first started the course, when they said all this teamwork, I was like, for fuck's sake, like, I really don't want to do this.
Teamwork,
Like, I'd just like to do it on my own, but really, that's my favourite part about it now, doing the teamwork.
Absolutely. I think as well it's good to just mention that like FCP is really hard to describe if you don't do it. Like we can say what we've just said, but as cringeworthy as it sounds, it's actually more I feel like it's more a state of mind. It's not a process, it's a way of thinking. Like we're always thinking about how does this connect to this. We're told never to do things for the sake of it. Nothing can be for the sake of it. You're doing something because it works with this, or because it means this, or because it works with this consumer.
Because it has to have a story, basically.
Everything has to have a story. Everything has to have a connection.
Without you even thinking about it or knowing it,
yeah.
if you look behind a brand, there's always a story and there's always a message.
Brand message.
There's a message
and an
behind
ethos.
the brand. Yeah.
And that's what we have
and
to
think
think
about. And the reason why they started and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's kind of like our job.
And now, I don't think I could ever just do a piece of work without having to think, well, why am I doing this? And I now, for everything I ever do, think, am I doing this for the sake of it?
Yeah.
Like, there's no point, don't do something for the sake of it. Next question. Why Nottingham? Well, I feel like we've
touched on that in a different video as well.
Yeah. Go back and watch our uni vlog, our uni video. And we did just talk about it a bit then, but is there anything in particular, like anything that caught your attention?
I liked the campus, so that was a tick. I liked the course tick. Like, looking at other places, you can't just think, like, you saw the name Fashion Communication Promotion, but you need to have the match of the two together that you like, so you can't like the course but hate the, you know what I mean? I feel like it was a good match. Yeah,
it was perfect. The course was perfect, and then, as we said in our past video, the campus itself, the city itself was perfect, and it just made like this perfect match together.
And I think especially for our course, it's really handy that Nottingham's a really creative city. Like, you can go and like go to a print shop and it's really cool and indie, or like you can go and find all these little tiny shops that sell like cute magazines, and like you're not going to get that everywhere.
No.
And I feel like you can find a lot of interesting people in Nottingham.
Absolutely.
So a lot of the course is like going out and finding people and...
Yeah. Sorry.
Meeting new people and finding out new places, and I feel like that's...
Sorry about all the noises going on. We've got a washing machine
on, the mechanics outside.
Okay, so here's a good one that will kind of explain like how our course works. A typical module or project. Do you want to give like an example of maybe a project you've worked on and like the process, and we could talk about the FCP process? Like, what's one of your favourites?
So probably one of my favourites. So we did one with ASOS, which is where like you're given a brief, and the brief was ASOS, and it was to create like not a magazine, but you know,
a photo story.
Yeah, a photo story, that's it.
Yeah.
And then you come up with like the idea behind it. I think we got given diversity, like the whole year got given diversity as like
that's your
but you can take
umbrella
it
term
in any way, shape or
Absolutely.
Form. Because like a lot of people in my year especially did like diversity in skin colour, diversity in like body shape, diversity in like gender.
Yeah.
Like that's such a topic.
Yeah.
At the moment, but I know my group did diversity in lifestyles. So we took our age group and then kind of split everyone up, being like, well, you could have a baby, you could be at uni, you could have a job, blah, 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 like diversity within that. So you can take it very liberally. That's what I liked about that one. And the photos turned out really amazing.
Really good.
And I really liked them.
But talking about like how an actual project goes, there is a, what am I trying to say? There's a path you follow with every project, and
it gets drilled into you from first year.
And it's really, really helpful actually. In the beginning you're like, oh, shut up about this FCP process. By the end of it, I use it in my everyday life. Yeah. So the FCP process is basically the steps you should go through when completing a project that would make sure that everything you're doing is cohesive.
Yeah, and it's, what's the word, like a well-rounded project. And
it's using these brand messages, ethoses, blah, blah, blah. So it starts with primary research.
Yeah.
Primary and secondary research, which we spend a long time on because everything needs to have a solid base. Yeah. Then it goes on to idea generation, which is using insights, which is another word that is drilled into us.
Insights.
You have to find...
What are your insights?
This is the thing, because every idea has to come from insights. You can't just think, well, that's a nice idea, I do it. It needs to have... Because they'll say, well, where did that come from?
Because like, you can have the best idea, but the people that succeed are the people that do the whole process. Like, do it from start to finish, because it without you even realising it, creates this really well-rounded, full story
really
and
meaningful
message.
Story.
Yeah.
You need to be able to say, I did this bit of research and these insights led me down this idea. So you've got your insights from your research. Say it's like, for example, it could be like blah, blah, blah amount of Gen Z says that they have body confidence issues.
Yeah.
That's a really generic example, but say that's it. So then your idea would be using the insights, idea generation. Okay, so we've got this fact that they have body confidence issues.
So we need to do a campaign on body confidence, blah, blah, blah.
And this is what it could look like.
Yeah.
From ideas.
And you'd do like a few different ways you could do this then.
Yeah.
So you'd move on and do like concepts. So you'd do different concepts. So concepts are the different ways that you would do this idea.
Yeah.
I guess that's how you... It's hard when you...
It's hard to explain it, and it's hard to understand it when you're in your first year as well. But ideas is... Okay, so the idea would be we need a body confidence campaign. Then the concepts are the ways you would do that.
So would you do a social media campaign? Would you do a photography shoot? Would you do...
Guerrilla marketing?
Would you do...
A bloody...
T-shirt campaign thing
so that's your concept.
Celebrities or whoever.
From your concepts, you then go into... I'm forgetting what's next.
Outcomes.
Okay, so outcomes is doing it. Okay, so now do it.
Do it.
Which sometimes means actually physically doing it, and sometimes it means mock-ups.
Yeah.
So computer designed versions of whatever you're going to do. So that's how most projects go, and no matter what the brief is, we follow that.
Yeah. I feel like it sounds really hard, but I feel like this is...
It makes sense.
So much sense.
You get it.
You do, and you're like, wow, why have I
Makes
never
sense.
known this before?
Well, because it means that in the end, what you have in the end...
Makes sense.
It made sense, and you're not doing it for the sake of it.
As
and it's going to work because it fits the people that you talk to in the beginning.
If you go into industry, or like we've pitched to industry people that are within the industry and like brands, you look so much more professional if you can show them how you got
the
there.
whole process.
If you just say, that's my idea, they're just going to be like, well, why?
We don't care, tell me why. That means why would that work for our client?
They want to know how you got there, why you got there, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the next questions is, do you get to work with brands and which ones? This is one of the things that really attracted me to FCP is we do get to work with brands, really good ones.
Yeah, even in my first year I worked with Levi's, which was actually somebody from Levi's would come in and speak to us, and then we'd pitch to him and it was just like it made you feel like so much more like adult and like ready to go into the industry, because it's not as scary as you think.
No.
And it makes you realise how these brands run and like the job roles that are
available
within. Because you see these people and you're like,
I didn't know that existed, but I want it.
I want your job.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as well now, in my position now when I'm trying to job hunt, it's worked really well in my favour because I've got experience and jobs on my CV, on my portfolio that say that I've worked with ASOS, Skinny Dip, TSPTR, there's a whole load of them, and that's so valuable. Like, most people can't say that they've worked with those brands, and whether it was within uni or in my spare time, I've still worked with them, and I can say that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've done ASOS, you've done Levi's,
Under the Stories,
I did them as well.
TSPTR, we did
TSPTR, I did, my last project was with Intern Magazine, Skinny Dip. It's incredible, basically, the people that they get on board. It's really impressive.
It is.
And if you're looking for somewhere that's really hands-on, it's definitely the course for you.
It makes you more aware of these brands that you wouldn't realise would be fun to work with.
Yeah.
Like, Levi's sounds quite like, it's Levi's. But the things that they're doing behind the scenes that we don't know about are really impressive, and it made me think so differently of that brand.
It does, and it makes you realise that you don't need to be striving to work for a brand like Gucci. You could go and work for anyone and they're still going through the same processes. Maybe that you're not actually going to ever be working hands-on really with the product itself anyway, like the clothes. So it's not about the image of the brand, you can go through these processes with any brand, which I think is, like you just said, it's really good. It makes you realise that there's so many other places to work for.
And it's quite good as well because they get a lot of local brands in, and we work with Dot to Dot Festival. Like, that's a local festival that happens in Nottingham.
Yeah.
And it's like, I would never even know that existed.
Oh, you worked with Size as well?
Oh, Size, that was my favourite. How did I forget that?
I don't know.
That was not my favourite thing. It's not my favourite brand, and then favourite store. And then you realise how, like, I could get that. I could actually work for them.
And you can say in the future, I did work for you and this was the project I created for you.
Yeah.
Also, it's really nice because the amount of times the brands that we've been working with, they have incredible feedback because they really enjoy it and they get some really great ideas out of it.
Yeah.
Because we're all really excited to work with them, and I'm not going to lie, we are the next generation and we are the ones coming up with the innovative ideas, and they get stuck in their brand too much and they need to like go out and see. So sometimes maybe they do steal our ideas, I don't know.
They probably do.
Probably. Do you think university is the right path for going into the industry? Basically, do we think it's necessary? What do you think?
It's hard because I think, for example, like, I know we were watching the Misguided documentary and we've watched podcasts with Pretty Little Thing.
Yeah.
And these people didn't go to university.
No.
Like, some of these people didn't go to university. It's like...
The people high up.
Yeah. It's like,
they didn't.
But now, I do think it gives you a stepping stone, because I feel like if somebody... There's 2 CVs there, they're really creative, but you've got a degree that puts you in a stead higher than everyone else.
Yeah.
And you learn so much. I just think it's so insightful. Like, you learn so much, you change as a person, the life lessons as well as the knowledge that you actually learn. I think it's very useful.
My whole mindset has changed, and I think in ways that I never would have been able to before. They have literally given me a way of thinking that I wouldn't have ever been able to grasp hold of. I don't think it's necessary because, for example, what we were saying in our last video about uni, you were working full time, and if you wanted to, you could have worked your way up within that brand and eventually become a regional VM or even more than that. But it's going to take more time, a lot more effort, and it. I mean, that's it. You could do it.
You could. It does happen.
It does happen, but
be prepared to put in a lot more graft than maybe.
Yeah.
And like, I do feel like going on this course, it's made me realise I can strive for a lot more than I thought I could.
Yeah.
Like, I could work for these brands that I really like. I don't have to just settle for a job.
Yeah, I think you've got thrive. You've got 2 options really. You've got like, you're going to have to work your way up, and it's doable completely. People do it. But if you haven't gone to uni and got the degree, you're less likely to be able to apply for jobs in the conventional way, because the people with the uni degrees are more likely to get them than you. So you would have to work through a working up process, not an application process so much.
It is just annoying because fashion is definitely one of the most saturated industries.
It is.
Everyone wants these top jobs, and it is so hard. It is hard because, like, I know you've been through the process of trying to get internships and like trying to get jobs, and like there are thousands of people trying to get the same job.
Exact same jobs.
So I just think, for advice, having that degree behind your name is impressive when it comes to.
If you can do it.
Do it.
But if it's not a possibility for you, then know that you still can make it, and you will. But you're gonna have to put more of a grind in. Basically.
I just think, especially with that, I would be confident. Ask at work to have like, would you be able to get me into head office and
that's
do weeks work experience? Just be really like.
You're gonna have to be very pushy with.
Be like, can I do a week doing VM? Like, I would love to help you out.
Can I? If someone's on holiday, can I fill in for them doing this job role that's higher than mine? So basically, I guess what we're saying is it's helpful, but it's not imperative. And let's just sum up on a little nice one, what we ideally will go into, what we will do.
Do you want to go first?
You're
closer to this than I am.
I mean, I'm just about to start this process, and I'm hoping it's not going to take me my whole life, but I'm not sure, because as you say, everyone is wanting the same jobs. And what I ideally would be doing is either PR or influencer marketing, which is very saturated. Like, a lot of people I know want to do that, more so the influencer marketing, not so much the PR. But it's going to be difficult, and I think I'm open to anything at this point. But ideally, that's where I'll end up.
Yeah.
I just want to be part of the teams that's coming up with the ideas of who we're going to work with, why we're going to work with this person, what's their audience, like how is their audience going to help us, like blah, blah, blah. So that's what I'm aiming for. But I could end up doing something completely different. I don't know. I'm going to go with the flow at the moment.
I know I've heard of like a lot, especially when people come from industry to our course, and they're like, well, I started doing this, and then I realised I wanted to do that, and I can switch. Like once you're in the company,
it's easier to move. Yeah.
A lot of people do that anyway. If you don't really know what you want to do,
yeah.
I think I actually don't really 100% know what I want to do yet, and I feel like that's okay.
I didn't know until probably about 6 months ago.
Because there's a lot of things that I like, but I don't actually know what jobs they actually are. But I like styling. I like VM. I've been doing that for a while though, and I don't know if I want that to be my full-on job forever.
Well, it would have to be a step up from what you have been doing.
I just think I want to get out of retail. I've worked in retail since I was 16.
Right.
I think I want to do the bit that's in the head office. I do want to work in a team. I do want to work around creative people because I feel like that's where I strive.
Yeah.
Is that the word, strive?
Thrive.
I thrive with creative people in a group setting. But yeah, like creative direction, kind of in a creative team, I'd say.
Yeah.
That comes up with ideas. An ideas gal.
Well, yeah, that's
a lot of things.
That's a lot of things, and that's something I know I don't want to do. I feel
like we're the opposite.
We are the opposite.
That's okay, so we don't go for the same jobs.
Good. Imagine. Oh my gosh, because you would so get it.
No.
But yeah, so we're gonna have to sum up today. We hope it's been a bit insightful, and
I hope we help some people,
because there's a bit of a stigma, and it is frustrating telling people what we do, and straight away it's, oh, you make clothes.
Oh my god, my whole family still thinks I'm going to just be a clothes designer.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've got friends that are doing design, but that's just not what we're doing, and it is frustrating that no one understands. So they think these clothes just appear everywhere. They think that these companies just don't do anything.
Like when I'd say to my mum, like, yeah, I start work at 5 a.m. She's like, why?
Doing what?
Does the shop open at 5 a.m? I'm like, no. How do you think the clothes get onto the shop floor?
How do you think they sell the clothes?
Literally.
Who is selling?
Who's putting up all the posters? Who's doing that? Who's dressing the mannequins? Like, you don't really think about
Who's coming up with these campaigns you see on the TV? So maybe it's for someone that doesn't really know that side of the industry, maybe we've enlightened you a little bit. And maybe for someone that's interested in getting into fashion but doesn't understand or doesn't know which area of fashion they want to go into, maybe it's helped you a little bit.
Yeah.
And if anyone has any questions...
As well, if you're coming on to FCP this year...
Oh, yeah.
Welcome.
Any questions?
Come on the podcast.
Send them our way. And... yeah, I guess we'll see you in next week's video. So see you next Thursday. Bye.
Should we do a high five again?